Hello, and thank you for watching part 2 of this video on the redeployment process. Filling vacancies under the redeployment program can take several paths, and facilitating these various approaches requires good coordination between all parties involved. It's important to remember that participation in the redeployment program does not guarantee the redeployment participant a job. It guarantees the opportunity to interview and to receive priority consideration for vacant positions for which they are qualified. In this video, we will be looking at two different approaches. One, the active recruitments, and two, declared vacancies. Let's take each in turn, starting with active recruitments. If a redeployment participant is interested in an active recruitment already posted for the city, the participant can simply submit their application materials as required in the job announcement. The participant would also notify their redeployment coordinator of their submission prior to the closing date of the recruitment. The coordinator would then notify the recruiter assigned to that posting. The recruiter would review and evaluate the participant's resume and determine if they meet the minimum qualifications for that position. Once determined, the recruiter would notify the coordinator of the results. The recruiter would place the participant's name on the eligible list as a must interview for this position and would notify the hiring manager.
This is a good place to stop and discuss the second approach for declared vacancies. Under this approach, a requisition is received by the employment and outreach staff, and they send written notice to the redeployment coordinator letting them know of the vacancy. The redeployment coordinator then presents the vacancy to the redeployment participant to determine interest. If the participant is interested, they would submit their resume to the recruiter.
The recruiter reviews and evaluates the application, knowledge, skills, and abilities, or KSAs, and notifies the redeployment coordinator if their participant meets the minimum qualifications, just like in the active recruitment flow.
If the redeployment participant meets the minimum qualifications, then the recruiter notifies the Bureau with the vacancy, and the assigned HR BP discusses the following two options with the Bureau's hiring manager. 1. The Bureau can request that the recruitment process and requisition be placed on hold while they interview the redeployment participant, potentially finding placement for a qualified redeployment participant and saving the time and costs associated with a full recruitment. Or, the Bureau can request the recruitment process continue and must interview the redeployment participant among other qualified candidates. If the redeployment participant does not meet the minimum qualifications for the vacancy, then the recruiter would notify the coordinator. The coordinator uses the information provided by the recruiter to debrief the participant who remains in the redeployment program for the applicable period. Okay, so now you know the process for active recruitments and declared vacancies. Under each of these processes, the Bureau with the vacancy determines if the redeployment participant should be extended an offer. If the redeployment participant is offered and accepts a regular position via redeployment after the date their layoff went into effect, their name will be removed from the recall list for the classification from which they were laid off. If the redeployment participant is offered a job through the redeployment program and turns it down, their participation in the redeployment program ends. They may still interview for any positions for which the redeployment process is already in progress. However, they may not initiate any new job searches or applications under the redeployment program.
If a redeployment participant interviews and is not offered a position, the hiring manager for the vacancy must write a letter to the Bureau of Human Resources Director making a case for their decision. Following the review of the Bureau's justification letter, the BHR Director can approve or decline the Bureau's decision not to hire the redeployment participant. If approved, the hiring manager notifies the redeployment participant of the decision and copies the redeployment coordinator. The redeployment participant remains in the redeployment program for the duration of their eligibility period. This process is repeated for each vacancy a redeployment participant is interested in and qualified for throughout their 90-day eligibility period. If the redeployment participant is not selected for a regular position by their effective layoff date, they will be placed on the layoff recall list within their bureau and classification at the time of layoff.